And the stakes could not be higher for the Minnesota Timberwolves right now, with a possible championship, at least in sight.
Yes, our Jim Rich sat down for a one-on-one conversation with Glen Taylor ahead of the playoffs and joins us now with more on how they hope to secure it. And this was such an interesting conversation you were able to have with him.
Yeah, he opened up about a lot of things here. Glen Taylor is the owner of the Timberwolves tonight as we speak, and he is now planning to remain the owner from here on out. The deal to sell the team is dead in his mind, and he's now ready to go all in to finally get his Timberwolves an NBA championship. I sat down with Glen in his office in North Mankato, and he shares what his new vision is now for the Timberwolves moving forward.
This is the signing of the Timberwolves deal.
It's been 30 years since businessman Glen Taylor saved the Wolves from leaving town and became NBA owner Glen Taylor.
I feel that I did the right thing. It was something that others weren't able to do. That's been my whole life, is try to figure out things that are really challenging. And I knew it was going to be a challenge, and I took it on.
Taylor took it on, and for the past 3 decades, he has watched his team try and achieve the NBA's ultimate goal.
I'm just a very competitive guy. I don't mind losing to a really good team if we play well. I respect that I'm not going to win all the time, and I'm okay with that. But it bothers me greatly when we lose to a team that I know we're better than them. We just didn't put the effort in. I'm not against calling the coach and talking to the coach and talking. I never criticize the coach, but we talk about what in the world were we thinking when we played the third quarter or something like this here and stuff like that.
Your birthday is game 1.
You're correct.
83.
You're correct.
What's the future for the Wolves now?
What I anticipate doing, if I can work everything out the way I am planning on it, is I'll just continue to keep the ownership. I'll have the controlling ownership, and just keep on running them, stuff like that. We have a plan that upon my death, we have a plan of what will happen, but they'll stay in Minnesota and they'll be controlled by my family.
Taylor thought his days were done as owner of the Wolves when he struck a deal to sell the club 3 years ago. But according to Taylor's lawyers, Mark Lowry and Alex Rodriguez failed to meet the final requirement, and thus the team remains in his control. Why was it a 3-year process?
It was pretty simple negotiations. I said that I'll name the price and you can name the terms. And I gave them a price, and they accepted the price, and the terms were they would pay for it over 3 years. We had a contractual agreement, and the agreement said that they, in the first 2 years, they would come in as limited partners, and how they would present their ability to be limited. This payment would give them controlling interest, and it's a totally different process than being a limited partners. And they had to do certain things to get there, and they didn't.
For them to take shots at you, that doesn't, I mean, you liked him at first, right? I'm assuming?
Well, I like him now. It isn't that I don't dislike them. I know that they've taken some shots at me. I prefer they didn't, and I won't against them.
Title number 4 for the Minnesota Lynx dynasty.
Taylor has had plenty of success with his other basketball team, the Lynx. They have won 4 WNBA championships under his watch.
Edwards gets it back and threw it down.
And now he is seeing similarities between those title teams and his current Timberwolves team.
Down the lane, the hammer!
If we do it right, I'm looking at we can do this for the next 5 years.
So that means the team stays together.
Well, if I control it well, and you say, well, Glen, you're 83 years old, what else would be logical? I mean, I'm at the end of my career, so I want to finish it out at the top.
There you go. So what Glenn is saying is that he's not worried about the salary cap moving forward. Even though Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns are due big raises, he wants to keep that core together, and he'll pay that luxury tax to try to get a title. As far as the next step with Mark Laurie and Alex Rodriguez, there'll be some mediation sessions set up between the two groups, but Taylor believes he will prevail. And one last point to make, the idea that Taylor is pulling the deal off the market because he agreed to sell it for $1.5 billion and it's now worth $3 billion. Glenn said he doesn't need the money. Just last month, he told me he donated $173 million to a foundation.
Well, there's a lot of sighs of relief after seeing that and hearing that right out of Glenn's mouth. And trust what he says, they'll be here a long time.
He owns 80 businesses.
Right.
And there's a reason he owns 80 businesses. He knows how to cut a deal. And apparently he cut one where, once again, he'll be coming out on top.
Well, there were so many loose ends just hanging out there with this whole thing, and you answered a lot of questions for people tonight. So
yeah, we'll see. We'll see where it goes, but now it's up to his team to perform.
And we're glad he's seeing success on the NBA side now, too. I mean, he's waited a long time for that.
A long time.
He's put a lot of money forth to see that happen.
And that's why he's willing to put more money up to keep this group together after this season.
Well, it's good to hear, Jimmy. Thank you.
thanks, Jim.